Hello and welcome, I'm Maggie Lee. Condensing more computing power into the same amount of space may seem like a good idea, but today many data centres are literally struggling under the load. As organisations are faced with the decision of whether to build a new data centre or retrofit an existing one, what power efficiency technologies should they be considering? And just how green can a state-of-the-art next-generation data centre be? Joining me in the studio is Phil Andrews, who leads the development of Cisco's European data centre strategy, and from BT Centre, Finlay MacLeod, who heads BT's transformation project. Finlay, if I could start with you first of all, drawing on your experience of making legacy data centres more efficient, what advice would you give to an organisation that wanted to design a green data centre?
A couple of things come to mind immediately. The first thing is to make sure that for each kilowatt you're putting into the data center, you're getting maximum advantage in driving your server farm. The other areas of concentration would be the use of direct current to power your servers, the use of fresh air cooling, and the use of virtualization and consolidation techniques to lower your overall energy costs.
Phil, where would you build your data center and what would be your ideal location and why?
It's very challenging to decide where to build a data center for several reasons. One, you need planning permission. Two, you need power. Three, you have to look at the location from a point of view of the sheer distance from the center of the computing to where the users are, because you get effects of such things as latency. So it can be quite complex. However, what we have seen is London now is tremendously difficult to find space, and it's at a premium there. In addition, we're seeing in Germany, there's a lot more opportunity in Germany to build data centers. And in fact, there are some areas, such as Scotland, where they're putting literally land aside for data centers and providing green electricity to that particular area. So look for the right level of power, look for the ability of planning permission, and make sure that it's close enough to the people who are going to use it that latency is not an issue. Those are the three things I would look for.
Finlay, would you agree, and is there anything else that you would add?
Yes, I certainly agree with these points that have been made. Another couple of points, areas of focus that I would say are important are to make sure that you're building in a location which has secure energy supplies, the renewable from various sources, and you're in a position to use either groundwater supplies to reduce the cooling requirement for your data center, or you can use fresh air cooling or other bits of technology.
Phil, thinking about some of your clients who face this particular challenge in terms of building a new data center, what informed their decisions?
I think gaining the confidence of a good real estate practice, for instance, people like C.B. Richard Ellis would be one, where they have a data center practice. These are people who source the right real estate, they work the planning permission, they check on all the power availability, and working a plan with organizations like that, and then other technology companies who look at the building area and how are they going to get the most efficient building. Those are the people that they start with. And then they come to organizations like Cisco, potentially IBM, HP, Sun, the computing companies, and look to us for the expertise to put the most efficient technology inside the data center, to be able to use virtualization, for instance, as a way of sharing infrastructure to make sure the data center is very efficient. The mechanical electrical people make sure the power and cooling is very efficient, and the building and surveying people make sure that the site is good and supplied well.
And just picking up on that expertise that you offer, what special features would your ideal data center have and why?
Well, I think it would be, firstly, very cooling efficient, and secondly, all of the resources inside the data center would be shared, so that you could literally have a virtual data center and apply any resources to any particular application necessary for the business, and therefore you could get maximum utilization out of the data center.
And Finlay, are there any other special features that you would add to your ideal data center?
I would add that there's an important need to link and couple the mechanical and electrical services, the environmental alarms, into the IT infrastructure, such that if something is failing, we know about it immediately, but we're also in a position to use these alarms to manage our overall energy efficiency.
And Phil, just looking to the future, let's say in 10 years' time, will we need data centres, or is that a ridiculous question? In other words, what other alternatives could emerge?
I think we will need data centers, but they may be different. For instance, if we look at technologies such as Google applications, people who are providing applications as a service, and people who are now hosting everybody's IT, they're looking to provide the data center as a utility with the applications delivered via the web, and eventually companies may end up just buying their applications in over the internet.
I would certainly agree with that. I expect that there will be two types of data centers. There will be the large-scale one, which will deal with the commodity requirements that we have in geographic regions, followed on by smaller type data centers that will cater for the local environment and what's required there. The key thing that we all have to focus on and remember is the need for energy efficiency and lowering of our carbon footprint over time.
And finally, Finlay, having been through the challenge of transforming BT's data centres worldwide, what would you do differently?
We've done a great deal of work. We've achieved a significant amount. We've increased our energy efficiencies, and we've done a lot of consolidation and virtualization of our data centers. There's much more to be done. However, given the benefit of hindsight, we should run a lot faster.
Finlay and Phil, thank you very much indeed. In our fourth episode, we'll be focusing on what smaller enterprises can do to be and remain green. Till then, goodbye.